The AMS Annual Fund aims to maximize fundraising outcomes in order to financially support innovative instructional practices and student experiences that go beyond the general budget. The AMS Annual Fund supports the instructional vision Learning is Personal, all the fine arts programs, and athletics. This video is about providing the tools and training to teachers to achieve the Learning is Personal vision. The AMS Annual Fund supports Humble ISD's Portrait of Graduate Vision and the AMS vision of Learning is Personal by providing funds that go above and beyond the general Humble ISD budget. Our goal is to reduce donor fatigue, but by only asking parents one time at the beginning of the year, and these funds will be distributed throughout the year to the many different clubs, organizations, and programs that AMS supports. The mission of the Learning is Personal vision is that we would build a community of leaders that meets the individual needs and passions of the students that we serve. Here are just some of the ways that your gifts will be used to support the Learning is Personal vision, whether through capturing kids' hearts to build the community, culture that we hope to desire, for project-based learning training to provide those experiences and help us meet the individual passions of our students, and to provide the tools in the form of Chromebooks to students to meet the individual needs. Our AMS Annual Fund funds are also used in many other ways, such as providing to clubs and organizations so that they do not need to provide their own individual fundraising efforts.
Well, Capturing Kids' Hearts definitely just reiterated something that I already knew about working with kids, and that's that truly they don't care what you know until they know that you care. A chance to greet kids at the door and shake their hands lets you take the temperature and kind of find out how they're doing as they're walking in, set a positive tone, let them know that you care about them as people first. And then spending those first 5 minutes or so of class sharing good things, again, sets a positive tone that carries through the rest of the class.
I really liked attending Capturing Kids' Hearts. I see already a big difference. I greet students every day by name at the door, sometimes with a handshake or a fist bump, some kind of contact at the door, and that already starts their time in my classroom on a positive note. But I've also set up in my classroom an area for students to send notes of affirmation to each other, and that helps build a positive culture among the students, because middle schoolers can be mean, but they can also be very nice, and they can say some amazing things to each other. And so I've given them the space and time for that in my classroom.
It really influenced it because it helped put the relationship back into my classroom. It wasn't so regimented that I was constantly just following step-by-step book ways of teaching. I was actually forming relationships with students.
I feel like the holy grail a little bit of education is being able to offer each kid a individualized pathway through the content. So some kids perform faster, some kids perform slower. What Chromebooks do is they help facilitate that. As one adult in the classroom, or maybe even having an in-class support teacher, that's not enough resources to offer each child an individualized pathway to learning. But with Chromebooks, what you can do is you can blend technology into traditional education. And so you can have days set aside, maybe one day a week, where it's a flex day, where students take a moment, they maybe do an online assessment, they have an online curriculum available to them, either teacher created or purchased by a third party, where they can target the TEKs that they are struggling on. So essentially what you can envision with having Chromebooks in the classroom is students having access to, on those days, the specific content that they're struggling with.
We are using Chromebooks to help focus in on what individual students need to learn. And so even within a daily classroom activity, you can have some students that are working on something directly involved with what the lesson was, while you can have some students who are a little bit ahead or applying that next level of thinking to it, a higher depth of knowledge question. And then at the exact same time, you could also have students that are learning the same concept, but might need a little bit of extra scaffolding and those extra steps. And so by having the Chromebooks, we can be using programs and different activities that allow us to personally target each kid, all while still talking about the same concept together. And so each kid gets to learn it in their own way, but still learning what we need them to learn.
In my classroom, we use a lot of small group instruction, so it will give me a little leeway where I can have students on Chromebooks working on student-led activities such as the Google Classroom, Khan Academy, where they can do extra practice, some other interactive online math practice where they can go on, watch instructional videos, take notes, get a little side instruction, a little practice on the side while they're waiting for me to come to the group.
I would really like to have Chromebooks use this assistive technology with our dyslexic kids. They have extensions that they use that would allow them to access reading and writing support in the classroom, whether they're working on assignments or assessments, quizzes, or tests, that would allow them to work as independently as other kids and rely less on teachers for that support and help, and just support their success.
My instruction has changed a lot since I've attended the ProjectBased Learning. I've attended for 2 years now and received additional training in that. I really like how the students in my classroom are experiencing reading English and language arts in a way that is authentic and connects to the real world. We see students writing more and reading more in my classroom, and it's not just test prep. They're still learning the standards that are required by the state, but they're also not just sitting down reading a passage and doing multiple choice questions. They're discussing their literature, they're interacting at a higher level, they're thinking more, they're discussing and asking questions, they're writing, they're creating stories, cover art, all sorts of things that go in the process of publishing writing. And we're also really working on getting the community involved a lot more. So this year I've already brought in the Houston SPCA, and I have a lot of plans to involve other community organizations and bring them in to interact with our students and broaden their horizons through that. But also an example of something from last year was I brought in some veterans, and the students were able to interview them and then tell the veteran story through writing.
So there's not only benefits to our students in the classroom by making a gift to the annual fund, but there's also fun benefits for the students and myself as well. Some of those benefits at the lower end of giving is that all students will be able to attend a DJ party, and we usually give away some of the hottest and hippest gifts, hundreds of dollars in gift cards to students. It's just a lot of fun, and that takes place in late January or early February. We do a principal for a day that allows me to spend time with a student for about a half a day, allowing them to do observations with classes, behind the scene tours, but make a purchase for a favorite class or teacher or program of their choice. And there's just lots of other opportunities that I allow them to serve. And then lastly, one of my favorite events is when students challenging me through the AMS Amazing Race. So by giving a gift, your child might be selected to participate in that way as well. So why should you give? Once again, 100% of your gift goes to AMS. We're only asking one time that it goes to a program of your choice where you would like to directly impact your child, and also knowing that your company may be able to match the gift. How can you support? You can do it in multiple ways. One of them is to go online to the school page, as you see on this video. Also, you can write a check through the Humble ISD Education Foundation, or you can go directly to that website and find AMS. Once again, thank you very much for considering making a gift of any size, small or large, to the AMS Annual Fund to help us move forward with our vision of learning is personal.